We're counting down the 9 teams still alive in this World Cup, ranked by the balance between what makes them dangerous and what could destroy them. From dark horses riding a single superstar to reigning champions with dynasty-level pedigree, every spot on this list tells a different story of strength, vulnerability, and tournament history stretching back nearly a century. But before the first team is revealed, the history that puts it all in perspective. In the 10th place, the historical baseline defines soccer's greatest prize. FIFA was established in Paris in 1904, but the tournament itself was not realized until 1930, when Uruguay hosted 13 nations for the inaugural event. Almost a century later, the 2026 co-hosts welcomed the 27th edition of the World Cup, debuting an expanded 48-team era. This century of competition creates the benchmark for every country still standing. The pressure of past triumphs and historical failures dictates how these modern squads handle the weight of their nations. Number 9. Colombia possesses genuine technical quality, though its historic World Cup ceiling remains lower than the true tournament favorites. Across 7 total appearances, the team has maintained an all-time win rate of around 44%, with their legacy anchored by a historic 1990 breakthrough. Tactically, the modern squad relies on a flexible 4-2-3-1 shape built on creative midfield play, explosive speed on the wings, and high set-piece value that generates goal-scoring threats without requiring sustained possession. However, 2 primary weaknesses threaten their campaign: a tendency toward defensive inconsistency under pressure, and the absence of a fully reliable traditional number 9 to spearhead the attack. 8th place belongs to Switzerland, a squad defined by structural stability over explosive attacking play. Across 12 tournament appearances, their benchmark remains the historic 2006 round of 16 run. The modern Swiss team averages 1.25 goals per match in group play, relying heavily on a disciplined 3-4-3 system. This defensive shape utilizes wide wingbacks to stretch opponents and tall center backs to generate aerial threats on set pieces, while a double pivot marshaled by Granit Xhaka shields the back line. However, this methodical approach reveals clear limitations. Attacking firepower remains modest, and their build-up play often wavers when opponents apply intense, high-pressing pressure. Even with these vulnerabilities, their compact defensive organization provides a steadier foundation than their closest competitors. Number 7. The United States relies on athletic upside and home field momentum to challenge the world's elite. With 11 historical appearances, their benchmark remains the 2002 quarterfinals. As co-hosts, the current squad replicated that milestone by securing a dramatic 2-1 round of 16 victory over Belgium at SoFi Stadium. Under manager Mauricio Pochettino, they have developed a flexible, high-tempo identity, using forward depth from Malik Tillman and Christian Pulisic to alter their shape mid-match. But defensive inexperience and discipline issues remain major liabilities. Folarin Balogun's red card suspension forced a difficult attack reshuffle and exposed a fragile backline that struggles under pressure. While passionate home support provides a powerful psychological lift, tactical maturity will decide if they can progress further. Number 6. Norway operates in dark horse territory with a squad whose massive potential rests on one devastating force. After failing to qualify for both 2018 and 2022 tournaments, the nation secured a return to knockout relevance with a dramatic 2-1 round of 16 upset over Brazil, driven by Erling Haaland's clinical brace. Tactically, this modern squad relies on direct attacking pressure, raw physicality in aerial duels, and immense finishing power. However, their reliance on a single superstar remains a massive liability. If defensive lines neutralize Haaland, the entire attack stalls completely, a problem worsened by a critical lack of depth in the central midfield. While their physical edge can overwhelm elite opponents, tactical adaptability will decide if they can survive without their star striker carrying the entire goal-scoring burden alone. Number 5. Morocco combines historical resilience with defensive stability. With 5 tournament appearances, their benchmark remains the historic 2022 semi-final run that shattered expectations for African football. In the current campaign, they secured their place in the next round with a decisive 3-0 round of 16 victory over Canada, maintaining multiple clean sheets in the tournament. Tactically, the squad relies on a compact, low-risk defensive block that limits space in the central third, paired with explosive transition speed on the flanks and high set-piece efficiency. However, this structured approach carries clear risks. The team struggles with limited creative depth outside of their primary attackers, and their build-up play becomes vulnerable when opponents apply intense pressure very high up the pitch. This defensive discipline provides their foundation. Number 4. Spain asserts control with possession numbers and a tournament pedigree that outclass the teams below them. Averaging 57.9% possession, they dictate match tempo through precise midfield positioning and steady ball retention. This strategy shields a defense that has conceded only 1 goal across 4 matches. Making their 16th tournament appearance, the 2010 champions rely on defensive stability, recently proven by their tight 1-0 round of 16 victory over Portugal. Tactically, Spain deploys inverted fullbacks to overload central areas and secure absolute command of the pitch. However, this heavy reliance on narrow passing sequences reveals a distinct vulnerability. The squad lacks raw pace in open spaces, forcing them to execute flawlessly in tight quarters to break down deep defensive blocks, meaning any lapse in their slow build-up can prove costly. In the third place, England pairs a high-powered attack with tactical flexibility to handle shifting game states. With 16 historical appearances and an all-time tournament win rate of 60%, the squad constantly operates under the permanent shadow of their sole 1966 title. Their current campaign was galvanized by a dramatic 3-2 round of 16 victory over Mexico, where Jude Bellingham scored twice in just 98 seconds to spark a massive comeback, which was eventually sealed by a late Harry Kane penalty. Tactically, England deploys a dynamic midfield built on immense running power to transition quickly, feeding Kane's clinical finishing inside the box. But clear vulnerabilities persist in their quest for silverware. A lack of natural cover at left back limits their width, and chaotic stretches of play can quickly expose a fragile backline when opponents apply heavy offensive pressure. In second place, Argentina commands a legendary World Cup pedigree, built across 18 tournament appearances and celebrated through historic championships in 1978, 1986, and 2022. The squad's modern attacking potency remains at an elite level, averaging roughly 2.67 goals per game in the tournament. This offensive ruthlessness was on display during their 3-1 round of 16 victory over Egypt, sparked by a brilliant Lionel Messi hat-trick. Tactically, Argentina relies on Messi's free playmaking role, combined with disciplined midfield control to dictate the tempo of play and starve opponents of the ball. Yet, this high-flying side carries distinct structural risks as they chase another title. An aging core raises questions about physical stamina, and their attacking depth is considerably narrower than in past eras. This narrow bench creates an intense reliance on a few central figures, leaving them highly exposed if opponents manage to neutralize their primary playmakers in a tight knockout match. And finally, in first place, France carries the most formidable balance of historical pedigree and present-day tournament execution. Across 16 World Cup appearances, their legacy is anchored by iconic championship triumphs in 1998 and 2018, maintaining a 57% all-time tournament win rate. In this campaign, they have sustained 3 clean sheets across 4 matches, recently grinding out a disciplined 1-0 round of 16 victory over Paraguay. Under their structured 4-3-3 system, France excels through organized high pressure, clinical finishing, and the explosive, match-breaking ability of Kylian Mbappé, who continues his relentless chase for the Golden Boot. This tactical approach utilizes inverted fullbacks to secure the midfield, though they must manage the loss of Aurelien Tchouameni to injury. Still, this aggressive structure carries clear risks, as quick counter-attacking opponents can exploit the vast open spaces left behind their high defensive line. Even with these liabilities, their sheer depth and defensive steel establish them as the premier contender. Across these 9 contenders, one truth emerges. World Cup glory is no longer about flawless squads, but managing fatal flaws. The champion won't be the side with the greatest strength, but the one that best hides its deepest vulnerability. Which team do you think survives? Let us know below.